In the first on point, we'll discuss the uproar in Parliament after Rahul Gandhi quotes report from Army Chief General Naravane's unpublished memoir. In the second on point, from Bengal to Delhi, Mamata fights with Delhi police, then with EC. Are her charges legitimate or mere theatrics? In the third on point, Pakistan gets a big jolt from BLA freedom fighters Islamabad on a murder spree in Balochistan. And now let's take a quick look at the headlines. Bangladesh court hands 10-year sentence to ex-Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina over Purvachal plot allocation. Kerala CM Pinarayi Vijayan writes to the Union Finance Minister demanding a judicial investigation into the death of businessman C.G. Roy. SC grants bail to 3 accused in Pune Porsche case that claimed 2 lives in May 2024. In a dramatic turn during the budget session of Parliament, the Lok Sabha was plunged into uproar following an unusual confrontation between the leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi and the Treasury benches over his attempt to quote from an unpublished military memoir authored by former Chief of Army Staff, General Naravane, referenced in the Caravan magazine. A proceeding were underway on the motion of thanks to the President's address. Rahul Gandhi rose to voice his view on national security and foreign policy. But almost within moments, the atmosphere in the House changed sharply when he began quoting from the article in the Caravan magazine that carried excerpts from a yet-to-be-published memoir by General Naravane titled 4 Stars of Destiny.
This is from the memoirs of Army Chief Naravane. And I'd like you to listen nicely. You will understand exactly who is patriotic, who is not. It'll take a little while. So this is about when 4 Chinese tanks were entering Indian territory. They were taking a ridge in Doklam, and the army chief writes, and I quote from an article that is quoting his book. The tanks were within a few hundred meters of Indian positions on the Kailash range.
No, sir, no, sir, no, sir. No, only started. No, he is not yielding. He is not yielding.
Disruption was immediate. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh objected that the book has not yet been published and raised concerns about the propriety of quoting unpublished material inside Parliament. He pressed Rahul Gandhi to clarify whether the memoir was in the public domain. Home Minister Amit Shah backed the objection, asking how an unpublished book or a magazine article based on it could be used as a source in the parliamentary debate. Speaker Om Birla intervened repeatedly, citing parliamentary rules that restrict references to unpublished material or unauthenticated reports during debates. He ruled that books, newspaper clippings or magazine articles unrelated to the House proceedings could not be quoted on the floor. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju also raised procedural objections urging adherence to established norms, while some BJP MPs pressed that this was a matter of decorum and discipline in the House.
यदि प्रकाशित हुई है तब तो आप उसका उल्लेख करिए, नहीं प्रकाशित हुई है तो उल्लेख करने का कोई औचित्य नहीं है। अध्यक्ष महोदय,
जो सम्मानीय सदस्य ने कहा वो सत्य नहीं है। तेजस्वी सूर्या ने कांग्रेस के शासन के समय के 4 से 14 के राष्ट्रपति अभिभाषणों का जिक्र किया और उसमें कहा कि इसमें कहीं पर भी इस प्रकार के शब्द मिले नहीं हैं। वो इसको डिस्प्यूट कर सकते हैं राष्ट्रपति अभिभाषणों का रेफरेंस देकर कि भाई 5 के अभिभाषण में है। अरे सुनो ना, अभी आगे सुनो, मुझे सुनो। और 349 को एक कोट कर रहे हैं कि अगर बिजनेस के रेफरेंस में मैगजीन है, आज के बिजनेस का रेफरेंस है राष्ट्रपति का अभिभाषण, महामहिम द्रौपदी मुर्मू का अभिभाषण। वो अभिभाषण के मुद्दे पर कोई आर्टिकल है जिसको वो कोट करना चाहते हैं, वो भी 359 के साथ में पढ़कर कर सकते हैं। एलिगेशन लगाने से पहले यहाँ पर उनको चेतावनी देनी पड़ती है माननीय अध्यक्ष, 24 घंटा पहले।
आप सदन में प्रतिपक्ष के नेता हैं, पूर्व में भी अनुभव रहा है। सांसद प्रियंका गांधी जी ने भी एक बात बोली थी तो उन्होंने ऑथेंटिक उस किताब को यहाँ पर टेबल पे किया। मेरा जो रक्षा मंत्री जी ने जो विषय उठाया है उसमें कहना है कि हम जो बोलें उसको ऑथेंटिक कर सकें, उसी विषय को सदन के पटल पर ये मर्यादा बना के रखें।
The disruption grew so intense that the Lok Sabha was adjourned multiple times with shouts and counter shouts from both Treasury and opposition benches, and business proceedings halted for the day. So what is this book that triggered the row? The unpublished memoir. The memoir, 4 Stars of Destiny, was written by General M.M. Naravane, former Chief of Army Staff, and reportedly deals with strategic decisions and key moments during his tenure, including India's border standoff with China, such as the 2020 Galwan clash and eastern Ladakh tensions. Though widely discussed in political media circles, the book has not been officially published due to pending security clearances. Now, portions of its contents have appeared in media reports that cited the unpublished draft. The article in question appeared in the Caravan, a well-known long-form journalism magazine. It draws on the portion of the draft memoir of the former Indian chief, General Naravane, a book that, as I say, has not been published, and secondly, it has been converted into a 33-page article. According to the article or the report, it offers a rare insider account of India's handling of high-stake border tension with neighboring China, including the 2017 Doklam standoff and Galwan. The article describes a critical moment in August 2020 when Chinese armored units were advancing towards Indian positions in the Kailash range area. Indian field commanders believed the only way to stop the advance was to open fire with artillery. Because that action could have triggered a full-scale war with China, the army chief sought clear political instructions from the highest level of government. The report says General Naravane made repeated calls to the senior ministers and national security officials asking one basic question: what are my orders? But for a significant period, no firm directive was given. Now, what makes the episode controversial is the claim that when the Prime Minister was consulted, he did not issue specific order to fire or not to fire, but instead left the decision to the army chief, effectively telling him to decide as he saw fit. The article argues that this was not simply tactical choice, but a movement of political responsibility. It says decisions that could lead to war are meant to be taken by elected civilian leaders, not delegated entirely to military commanders. By leaving the call to the army chief, the report suggests that the political leadership avoided taking direct ownership of the risk of escalation. The article then turns to the Caravan clash of June 2020, Galwan clash of June 2020. It challenges the idea that the clash was sudden or unavoidable. It says Chinese troop movements and aggressive posturing had been building for weeks, and that Indian commanders in the sector were underprepared and slow to recognize the scale of the threat. According to the report, intelligence and early warnings were not fully acted upon, which contributed to the deadly confrontation. On the disengagement, process that followed the article focuses on the creation of so-called buffer zones along the line of actual control. It says these zones reduce the chance of immediate clashes, but also meant that Indian troops stopped patrolling certain areas they had previously accessed. In practical terms, the report argues this amounted to the loss of control over some contested ground, even though it was not officially described as territorial loss. The report also questions how these developments were communicated to Parliament and the public. It says that the government did not hold detailed briefings on what had changed on the ground and avoided acknowledging the strategic cost of disengagement. According to the article, the official public narrative projected stability and success, while internal military reality was far more complex and constrained. A key theme running through the report is civil-military relations. It argues that the crisis exposed a gap between political authority and military responsibility. The army was expected to manage a potentially explosive situation with China, but without receiving unambiguous political direction at the most dangerous moment. The article frames this as a form of political abdication rather than delegation, suggesting that instead of elected leaders making the hardest call, the burden was shifted onto the army chief. Taken together, the Caravan article makes three central claims. First, India came closer to a war with China that was publicly acknowledged. Second, that the military was left to manage the danger without clear political ownership. And third, that the disengagement that followed quietly changed the status quo on the ground. These assertions, drawn from the former chief's unpublished memoir, are what transformed a magazine report into a parliamentary flashpoint. Now, however, while the opposition quotes a report on this unpublished memoir, General Naravane has on record given several accounts of India's victory against China in the Galwan clashes. Listen to this.
India as a country showed to the world that it is possible to take on that neighborhood bully, as is the case everywhere. Whether it is a school bully or a neighborhood bully, you have to stand up to him sometime or the other. Right. We showed it can be done.
The controversy isn't just procedural. It reflects a broader political battle over transparency, national security and civil-military relations. Opposition leaders argue that insights from a senior former army chief on key strategic episodes in the public interest must be debated, while the government says that the parliamentary debate must adhere to the rules and avoid reliance on unverified sources. And at the heart of the debate is a stark question: is a former army chief memoir suggesting that the Prime Minister instructed a senior commander with something akin to decide as you see fit in a time of crisis? Is that a breach of civilian oversight or merely a different style of political military coordination? I believe that giving free hand to army chief was the right thing to do. If we look at the way Uri, Balochistan and Sindoor operations proceeded, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has always given free hand to the armed forces. Prime Minister Modi has always allowed armed forces to make independent choices. It shows that Prime Minister Modi is not a micromanager. It shows that Prime Minister Modi allows heads of armed forces to make decisions independently and they enjoy a free hand during operation. It is a matter of style which reflects the way Prime Minister runs the country, which shows that it was a decision in which Prime Minister asked the army chief to take a call which will give him a greater free hand. So it is not an abdication of position. It reflects a working style whereby Prime Minister allows great operational freedom to our armed forces. This is how I see when Prime Minister's decision was communicated to former Army Chief General Naravane, jo uchit ho wo kijiye, which means that you are being given a free hand to deal with the enemies of this country.
Operation Sindoor was the best example of tri-service synergy under clear-cut political directive and full freedom to act or respond.
And I played this bite for one specific reason, that this is the template that has been true when it came to Uri, Operation Balochistan, and as you heard, even in Operation Sindoor, the Chief of the Army Staff, what did he say? That we were given free hand to deal with the enemy. So this was on point one. Now in on point two, we'll talk about West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, who met Chief Election Commissioner Ganesh Kumar in Delhi. She was accompanied by Trinamool MPs Abhishek Banerjee and other people. What happened? We'll tell you after the break.
शिव प्रसाद जी को बीमारी के कारण 15 बार हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट होना पड़ा। पॉलिसी बाजार की टीम ने उनका लाखों का क्लेम अप्रूव करवाने में पूरी हेल्प की। पॉलिसी बाजार पर 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 550 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
घर है वही जहाँ सब संग हो, रिश्तों को रंग दो, दुनिया को रंग दो।
Birla Opus Paints.
एक और फैमिली ने रखा कदम अपने नए घर में, टाटा कैपिटल होम लोन्स के साथ।
With Skoda Supercare and growing network across 180 plus cities, you never drive alone.
Skoda.
Yes, we are in Philippines.
West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee met Chief Election Commissioner Gyanesh Kumar in Delhi. She was accompanied by Trinamool MP Abhishek Banerjee and Kalyan Banerjee, along with 12 families affected by the special intensive revision of electoral rolls in West Bengal. After meeting CEC, Mamata Banerjee held a press conference accusing ECI of being arrogant, calling the poll body a dalal. She said her party has no expectation from the Election Commission. She questioned ECI as why SIR is being conducted 3 months before elections in Bengal. She went on to say that the people from Bengal had come to raise the issue with the Election Commission but were being threatened. The families attending the meeting included people who were allegedly and wrongly declared dead and relatives of those who passed away due to SIR-related issues. Banerjee and the family members marked their protest by wearing black, with Didi in a black shawl and Abhishek Banerjee in black sweater.
हम 4 टर्म्स मिनिस्टर थे, 7 टर्म्स एमपी थे, लेकिन हम कभी ऐसा इलेक्शन कमीशन को नहीं देखा जिन्होंने इतना एरोगेंट है, ग्रेट लायर है। हम उनको कहा था कि आपको कुर्सी को रेस्पेक्ट करते हैं, because no chair is permanent for anybody. One day you have to go, but don't create this precedent. And only why Bengal is being targeted? लोकतंत्र में इलेक्शन होता है, डेमोक्रेसी का फेस्टिवल, और आपने क्या किया? पहले 58 लाख लोगों को वोट दिया, निकाल दिया, और उनको आप डिफेंड भी करने नहीं दिया। एआई का नाम पे सिवा खाना कौन है?
The Election Commission has pushed back against the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's allegation, with sources in the poll panel offering a sharply different account of what transpired during her meeting with the Commission. Election Commission sources told News 9 that the Chief Election Commissioner was listening patiently and calmly to all concerns raised by the TMC delegation regarding the SIR process. According to these sources, it was Mamata Banerjee who lost her temper during the interaction. They claimed that the Chief Minister suddenly became angry in the middle of the meeting, banged the table in rage and walked out before discussions could complete. The BJP also hit out at Mamata.
चीफ सेक्रेटरी का साथ मुलाकात करने के लिए कोशिश किया, 2-3 बार मेल किया। चीफ सेक्रेटरी आज मिलने के लिए इनकार कर दिया, 6 तारीख को डेट रखा। इसलिए हम लोग ऑनरेबल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल चीफ स्टेट की गवर्नर का पास टाइम मांगा था, उन्होंने टाइम दिया। मैं एलओपी सहित 12 बीजेपी एमएलए, हमारी स्टेट की 2 सीनियर लीडर, 14 मेंबर डेलीगेशन हम लोग मुलाकात किया। हमारी मुलाकात की जो मांग है, जो डिमांड है, वो 1 नंबर है। यहाँ इलेक्शन कमीशन का रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ओनली 1 है, सीओ है। उनकी छोड़कर पूरा एसआईआर प्रोसेस में जो 90,000 बीएलओ deputed by, listed by the state administration, all AERO and ERO and DO, all controlled by the state government under the leadership of the Chief Minister and the Chief Secretary.
Earlier today as well, Mamata created high drama in the national capital after confronting Delhi police outside Banga Bhavan. The confrontation came amid TMC allegation over voter rights violation during SIR exercise in Bengal. And Mamata was saying why is police following her, and when she spoke to them as to why they were there, then she said, well, she can get her people from West Bengal, so that, she can show her strength in Delhi. On this issue, I am joined by Charu Pragya, spokesperson Bharatiya Janata Party, Rohan Mitra, spokesperson Congress, Barnu Burman, political analyst, and Brijesh Pandey, input editor of News 9. Let me straight away go to Charu Pragya. Madam, what do you make of the entire, I would say, tamasha which happened in New Delhi, starting from Bango Bhavan to the office of the election commissioner? Madam.
Good evening and namaste. I think you framed it correctly. There was a lot of drama. And West Bengal government shifts accountability and thinks theatrics is enough to win the hearts of people. And I think Mamata Banerjee has become quite a pro at this. She does not want to concern herself with the legality of things. She does not want to concern herself with the constitutional validity of anything. How she functions is now very, very simple. Manufacture a crisis, attack institutions, play victim, and then hope that headlines will be created and they will be big and loud enough to deflect from her failure at governance. And failure at governance has been there for everybody to see. See, democracy died in West Bengal the day Mamata Banerjee won the last elections. We saw the kind of post-poll violence that went on in West Bengal, and it didn't come to a pause at all. In fact, the victims had to come knocking at the door of the Supreme Court to get any kind of relief. And even after that, Kartikeya, we've seen the whole mess after RG Kar Medical College rape case, the way it was mishandled, deliberately evidence was destroyed. We have seen the way police in West Bengal actually attacks and helps the perpetrators of crime. We saw it in the case of Murshidabad. Kolkata High Court itself said that police is being used like a tool by the government to drive out citizens from their homes. So much has happened, and excuse me, Delhi police is not West Bengal police. Delhi police is responsible for the security and safety of every single chief minister in the country who comes to the capital, every constitutional authority, judges of the Supreme Court. It is responsible for every foreign dignitary which comes, and all of this is done in spite, irrespective of party loyalties. So please, anything that happened in Delhi today was completely on you. They were anticipating a problem and they were stationed to handle with that. Delhi police solves crisis. It does not create crisis like West Bengal police does.
Okay. Let me play out one more bite of Mamata Banerjee. What happened earlier in the day?
I think whatever she said about the strategy of TMC, I think she has just said.
Let me just play out the bite.
BJP, what?
तो ब्लेम करेंगे उसको जो माथा पे है उसको हिमालयन इनकॉम्पिटेंस है देश को सुरक्षा नहीं दे सकते हैं बंगाल को ऊपर टर्चर करते हैं आम जनता को ऊपर टर्चर करते हैं और एसआईआर का नाम पे सत्यानाश कर रहे हैं.
Let me play out another bite of Mamata Banerjee. There is another bite of Mamata Banerjee. Let me play out that bite also.
उनका घर में भी माँ है बहन है भाई है दिल्ली पुलिस ऐसा नहीं है हम उसको नहीं कहेंगे वो तो इंस्ट्रक्शन पे आई हुई है I will request the Home Minister not to behave like this. When you come to Bengal, we give you the red carpet, and when you came in Delhi, you give us a black carpet. We'll show you the black result. Don't show us the muscle. If nobody fight in this country, I will fight. Our party will fight.
Okay. So, Brijesh, what is happening? I mean, so why is Mamata so upset today?
Well, I think that's vintage.
I'll come to you, Pragya. I'll just come to you. So let me, Pragya, I'll come to you. I'll come to you, Pragya. What's happening? Why is she upset today?
That's vintage Mamata Banerjee, and she's playing to the gallery. I think, I mean, you know, she's a consummate politician. She understands the pulse of the people. She understands, you know, how important narrative is and how narratives can be shaped and built. And she's a pro at it. And I think, you know, very few politicians can rival her as far as doing these kind of things is concerned. So, like a true vintage politician, you know, we saw Khela Hobe there back in West Bengal. I think, you know, the way she went after Delhi police, the way she went after the CEC who was there along with the entire, the team of election commissioners along with him. And the way, you know, it happened after sides. I mean, it's a clear messaging to her electorate back there that I'm in Delhi. which is the turf of Bharatiya Janata Party, and I'm still giving it as good as it gets. So I think
my only surprise is Rohan to you and then Bhanu Baman. My only question is, SI didn't work in Maharashtra, the entire campaign didn't work in Bihar. I mean, why? I'll come to all of you. I'll come to you, Rohan. Why do you think that it's going to work in West Bengal? I mean to say, it's not working anywhere, sir.
Kartikeya, you use the words drama and everything other words which this is a perfect reality show of politics, because the narrative is such right now. I mean, Charu Pragya forgot that Supreme Court gave RG Kar to CBI, and what did CBI do? They said exactly what the Kolkata police said. So this whole drama is just trying to create a bipartisan, bipolar narrative in Bengal, because you see, from after 2021, the BJP's graph in Bengal has been going down. Mamata Banerjee knows that the BJP is not a fight, is not in the fight against her, but it is to create this false pretext that the fight is between TMC and BJP, that all this drama is going on. First of all, she's a Z category protectee. So her protection should have been out there with the Chief Secretary of Bengal and the Home Ministry together in it, then to have this whole drama of the Delhi police coming in the morning and showing us the video cameras doing all the drama with all the MPs. This is just trademark reality TV politics which is going on. Coming back to SIR, see, the Congress party has been always on the right side of the SIR. We said, let's put the SIR out there, make sure that nobody who has the right credentials should be out of the voter list. We did not say that you should not keep people who do not deserve to be on this voter list in that voter list. But with the TMC now, let me put it out. 58 lakhs which came out on the first day, they gave the names and it was given their assemblies and their booth numbers, everything was mentioned. So we do not have a complaint on that, but we have a complaint on the 1 crore 60 lakh people who have been given notices, including me. My father is an ex-member of parliament, and I have been given a notice on absolutely nothing. I went there, it was for 1 minute, and okay, I'm not complaining because I'm a young man, I can stand there in the queue. But what we saw was 70-year-old people, 80-year-old people who were standing in the queue for hours and hours without any kind of help. This is what is happening in Bengal. So the election commission has a lot to answer for, but not for this drama which is going on in Bengal.
Let me tell you, Rohan, I also had a bit of a case in my family, but I also stood in the queue, and I stay in sector 50 in Noida, and I went to Sarvodaya Vidyalaya, and I think I sorted it out in 40 minutes. I called you, Brijesh. It took me 40 minutes to sort out my stuff.
Yes, Pragya, it took me 3 hours. It took me 3 hours, and there were 70-year-old men and women in that line.
Fair enough. Two experience cannot be same. Pragya to you, Pragya to you, and then to Barno.
So here is the thing. The Election Commission of India...
I'll come to you, Barno. I'll come to you.
Manages a population of over 90 crore people who go in for polling. Can you imagine an exercise of this magnitude in any other part of the world? A few people having minor issues here and there, which are anyways ironed out, usually typically within the hour, is actually excellent work by our Election Commission. And I always wanted to say this, if there's an issue with the SIR process, it's a constitutional process. You can move the court. You can actually move the court and ask for amendment. You can ask for changing of the section in the Representation of People's Act or the Article 324, 25 and 26 of Constitution. But you know what? What Rohan was trying to say, I will come back to that and I will again tell Rohan why he is majorly wrong. So when the CBI got the RG Kar medical college case, evidence had already been destroyed. In fact, Mamata Banerjee held on to that transfer for a really long time, well over a week, and by the time CBI stepped in, everything was destroyed. This is the same Chief Minister who takes joy.
Rohan, let us speak.
CBI.
Rohan, let us speak.
What is the section state of CBI?
Rohan, let us speak.
I would love to ask you one simple...
Rohan, let us speak. She didn't disturb you. And Barno, I'll come to you. I'll come to you, Barno.
And I'll tell you, she
they are putting their...
against institutions. I'm giving you reasons. She sat on a dharna against the CBI when it went there in the Sharda Chit Fund case. She is the one under whose watch ED officers were attacked in Sandesh Khali because they wanted to investigate land mafia. Their car was set ablaze. Most recently, she stormed into the middle of a ED raid, walked out with evidence and files. So this is the kind of behavior she talks about, and here she is using words like incompetence and torture. Excuse me. Since when has doing their job become incompetence or torture, and you cannot be pointing fingers at cops like this when you come to Delhi, because all you come here to do is create more drama.
Okay, Barno, now you get to speak. Barno.
I think Ms. Pragya don't have any point to justify the way SIR is going on in Bengal. That's why she is moving from the topic of today's topic. She is going to see Sandesh Khali.
In the Supreme Court.
Ma'am, this is my time.
No, you are making personal comments against me. I did not make any comments.
Definitely I will do. Whatever I
party.
think is correct, I will say.
Do not tell me what I do or do not know. Stick to your job.
Yes, certainly I will. I will put the fact across to you. I will put the facts across to everyone and let people decide who is saying correct or wrong.
I will not stand for it.
I will.
You may start over after
if you say something false, I will. If you say something wrong, I will. If you say something wrong, I will.
Okay, Barno, make your point. Barno.
Let the people decide.
Barno.
Let the viewer decide. Let the viewer decide. Let the viewer decide who is correct, who is false.
Barno, make your point now. Barno, Barno, you see,
coming in between.
you know, conversations, the pointers can be infinite, Barno. Conversations point can be infinite, but time I have in my own studio is finite. Please understand that it's finite. It ends. So please make use of it. Barno, please.
I was mom. Okay.
Barno,
so
please
what
make
I'm
use of
saying,
it.
the way SIR is happening in Bengal, the way the SIR is happening in Bengal is not correct. We are not against SIR. We are just against this hurried exercise. We are against of this hurried exercise. SIR is if people are getting notice, if people are getting disenfranchised, then people will ask, no, what is the legitimacy of it? What are the SOPs are being followed? Trinamool Congress has went to court also. State government of West Bengal has went to Supreme Court also. They said that Madhyamik certificate will not be allowed or accepted. Then Supreme Court said, no, you have to accept it. So what we are realizing in Bengal is SIR is just a silent, invisible rigging. The way it has been done, it is clearly, we can see, the LOP of West Bengal is saying 1 crore voter will get notice. And the next day, ECI is issuing notice to 1 crore 30 or 40 lakhs voter. If ECI works on the words of BJP, then the protest will happen. And today, Mamata Banerjee get a set plus security. She is a cabinet, she's a former cabinet minister. She is a current chief minister. She will get security. But why police cordon off?
But Barno, I have a question.
Why Delhi police cordon the
Barno, I have a question. I mean to say, if the meeting was to resolve the issue, why do you walk out of it? Fair point? Why do you walk out of it if the meeting is to resolve the issue?
Because last time when Abhishek Banerjee, our current MP of Diamond Harbour, when he went to meet election commissioner, chief election commissioner Ganesh Kumar, he refused to listen to him. Same happened today also. If election commission
she walked out of the meeting. Barno, she walked out of the meeting. Okay.
See, this is the point I am making.
No. What is our sources telling us? Brijesh, wait a minute. Pragya, let's get the fact. Brijesh, what is our... Okay, what are our sources telling us? We have reporters on ground. Brijesh, we have the reporters on ground.
Election Commission sources said that they were listening to him patiently, and but she got impatient, she got angry, she banged the table and left the conversation. So this is what Election Commission sources are saying.
So our reporters are saying that she banged the table and left. I mean, so who banged the table? Who banged the table? The election commissioner or madam?
Let the election commission release a video. Let the election commission release a video.
No, who banged the table? Rohan.
Ask them to release a video.
No. Is it so? That is why I asked now. Was it a tamasha or a genuine?
It is a tamasha. Kartikeya, you've answered the question. It is a tamasha. This is just a real time. It is reality politics. This is just to maintain a binary. Because the BJP is on the way down, Mamata Banerjee needs to make sure that
that is what happening.
So was it a tamasha for the airwaves? Was it a tamasha for the airwaves?
They have zero stake in West Bengal.
Was it so you admit it's a tamasha for the airwaves?
That's why people are...
Rohan.
The media is giving her the airwaves. The media is giving the BJP and the TMC airwaves.
The TMC is getting the airwaves. She's doing Facebook Live. I mean, so she's doing Facebook Live. I mean, so people, regular Joes are deployed there. You go to anywhere in the Haley Road, you go to Chanakyapur, it's the most heavily defended area in this country. I mean, so you will find police everywhere. If you will not find police in Chanakyapur, where will you find them?
It's not about being heavily policed or being... you tell me one thing. When people who have lost their life or the people who have been claimed as dead are staying in Bangla Bhavan, why Delhi police...
Okay, Charu, do you think you guys are in fight? Let me ask a very blunt question. You know, twice Mamata Banerjee has defeated BJP. Are you in fight this time? I'll take that closing comment from you.
We are going to win this election fair and square, Kartikeya, because we've seen the kind of mismanagement and misgovernance West Bengal has seen in the last 5 years. And I started with that. Post-poll violence was the beginning of it. And the most recent
how many cases were thrown out of the High Court? You know how many false allegations were thrown out of the High Court? Do you have any clue? Do you have any clue?
Yeah, I'll tell you the problem with the TMC people is that they think if someone's not aligned to their way of thinking, they can be driven out of their homes, they could be murdered in cold blood, they could be treated as badly as they like.
False narrative.
No,
propaganda.
This is the
False narrative and propaganda.
Queues and queues of people.
False narrative and propaganda of BJP.
Back into Bangladesh. Because
if they cannot conquer Punjab, they will say Punjab is a Khalistani. If they cannot conquer Bengal, they will call Bangladeshi. That is the strategy.
Barno, what is the strategy? What is the strategy?
If they cannot
that's not the strategy. That's not the strategy. The point is after a lot of the point is you guys have been in power in West Bengal for such a long time, but the BJP is a principal force that has emerged. I think that is where the problem is. Isn't that the Brijesh? It's the principal contender right now.
The entire stake of the leftists has gone to BJP.
2019 and they are done and dusted in 2021.
No. Okay, Pragya, very quickly. Pragya, I want to listen to Pragya. PCR, I want to listen to Pragya. Pragya.
The entire stake of leftists.
Pragya, I want to listen to Pragya.
I'm trying. I stepped on the snake's tail. That is why he's so irked and he does not want me to speak. You know, there were things in West Bengal in this last term which have pained the entire country. When grandmothers were raped in front of their grandchildren, that pained the entire country. The way RG Kar Medical College rape case was handled, it pained the entire country. The way the entire administration stood with the culprit and did not care about the victim, it pained all of us.
Okay.
Murshidabad, homes were set afire and this government could do nothing. All of that is karma and it is going to come back and pay its debt to Mamata Banerjee and her people.
Okay. Brijesh, tell me one thing. Do you think that there's a real fight this time? Or is it going to be something like last election or last to last election?
There is a fight. But I would say there is a fight, but I would say that I would like to qualify that remark by saying that Mamata Banerjee is as consummate politician as Narendra Modi is. So, you know, the fight is between equals. It's not an unequal fight as we have seen in other parts. The fight is between equals. So both are adept and consummate politicians, and this is the reason why it has been in the last two elections very, very tough for the BJP to usurp Mamata Banerjee to defeat her.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Pragya. Thank you, Barno. Thank you, Rohan. And thank you, Brijesh, for joining me. So this was on point 2. So it was Mamata Banerjee at her best in terms of theatrics, in terms of garnering public attention, whether it was TV or Facebook or social media profile she has. So this was pure play Mamata Banerjee in Delhi. But in on point 3, we'll talk about Pakistan. Gets a big jolt from BLA, freedom fighters, and Islamabad goes back on a murder spree in Balochistan. On January 31st and Feb 1, multiple coordinated suicide and gun assaults stuck across Balochistan, including the provincial capital Quetta, the port of the Gwadar, Mastung and Noshki. Baloch freedom fighters delivered a big blow to Islamabad after targeting police stations, paramilitary bases, high security prison, sparking intense clashes with security forces. According to official figures, the attack left at least 17 security personnel and 31 civilians dead and injured many others. Pakistani troops then mounted a counter-offensive lasting more than 40 hours, during which security forces said they killed approximately 145 Baloch freedom fighters. The Balochistan Liberation Army, a Baloch separatist group banned by Pak, has claimed responsibility for the attack, calling the campaign a coordinated offensive against the state. BLA seeks greater autonomy for Balochistan, which is ravaged by Pakistan through the Belt and Road project of China. They're exploiting the resources. Across Balochistan cities and towns, the atmosphere remains tense, road remains quiet, transport services have been disrupted and mobile internet access has been restricted, underscoring the scale of disruption to everyday life. Pakistan Military and Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi has alleged that the attackers involved in Balochistan had India's support, a claim New Delhi has categorically rejected. The ME said that we categorically reject the baseless allegation made by Pakistan, which are nothing but its usual tactics to deflect attention from its own internal failing. India's official response underscores a firm rejection of Pak narrative, while emphasizing that such allegations are part of repeated pattern that overlooks the deep-rooted political and human rights issues which Balochistan is suffering. Despite being rich in natural gas, coal, copper, gold, Balochistan remains Pakistan's poorest and least developed province. 44% population in Balochistan is under poverty line, and the region records the lowest literacy rate in Pakistan. Basic services, healthcare, education, drinking water remain scarce in the large parts of the region. Local leaders and right groups say revenue from Balochistan resources flow to Islamabad and Punjab, while province itself is left with little investment, little political power. Instead of development, what Balochistan has received over these decades is heavy militarization. Security forces dominate vast areas of the province. Checkposts, counter-insurgency operations and intelligence raids have become part of daily life. Human rights organizations have repeatedly flagged enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings and arbitrary detentions, abductions, rape, conversion of young girls including minors, allegations that Pak authorities deny. Families in Balochistan continue to protest, demanding answers, but missing relatives, some of whom vanished years ago, still elude. The cycles of repression and resentment has fueled a long-running insurgency driven by groups demanding greater autonomy of outright independence. Each fresh wave of violence is followed by a familiar response from Islamabad blaming foreign hand and external interference. New Delhi says Pakistan is deflecting attention from its
including the capital, Quetta, Noshki, Gwadar, Panjgur, Pasni, Tum. Many of the areas are still under the control of the Baloch Liberation Army. The news are coming that Noshki is still under the full control.